everybody, and welcome back. It's Wednesday and the 7th, and here we are, still very much in the crosshairs of some potentially dangerous weather. We're talking about temperatures tonight getting down to the below zero threshold, -3 in the forecast for the viewing area. You factor in wind gusts upwards of 24 miles per hour at times, and that, of course, will put wind chill factors dangerously low. On that front, a couple of announcements on tonight's program in regards to people and pets. In respect to people, a warming station which has been established in Sagersville. I'll tell you when and where and what they have to offer, as well as a woman who stopped by the newsroom earlier today worried about the animals out there, who's been busy today making the rounds, offering some straw or food to pets which may certainly have been out of shelter in the cold air, and maybe their pet's owner just unable to provide any support for them in that regard. We'll have a phone number for you if you're unable to maybe get food or straw due to the weather conditions or any other conditions of that nature. We'll pass that along to you, and a lot of other headlines as well. As far as your weather forecast is concerned, no surprise that classes have been canceled again tomorrow. Breathitt County was still on a 1-hour delay at last report, but official closings for Floyd, Johnson, Lawrence, Magoffin, and Pike. I hadn't heard from Morgan County as of air time, but it's expected that they may follow suit because temperatures tonight, as I said, -3. Factor in the wind chills, only getting to 22 tomorrow, and they're not going to go anywhere. We're going to be from 22 for the high tomorrow, 21 for tomorrow night's low, which is an improvement from what we are going to have to hunker down and deal with tonight. But we've got this Arctic air mass which is literally going to have a grip on much of the nation and certainly the viewing area for the next few days. More on the wind advisory which is in effect and other updates in your forecast coming in just a few moments. That will be a couple of our focal points though tonight, as I mentioned, in respect to some weather precautions. With that said, also one of our reports tonight will deal with those GPS directions which aren't always fail-safe. The man from Germany found out. Fortunately, he got some aid relatively quick today, but it was not in the area that he was supposed to be. I'll get to that in just a second. We will first, however, talk about State Senator Brandon Smith. Brandon Smith represents District 30. That includes all or portions of Bell and Breathitt, Johnson and Leslie and Magoffin and Perry counties. He also has been here in Magoffin County and on the News Today on several occasions, but today he is in headlines for being arrested last night in Frankfort. The Republican from Hazard was facing at least 2 driving or motorist-related charges as of airtime. While the senator is yet to make any public announcement or statement, per my knowledge, Kentucky State Police have confirmed that they did take State Senator Brandon Smith into custody last night in our state's capital and charged him with DUI as well as speeding. Police say that he was stopped somewhere along Village Drive in Frankfort for the speeding offense. Upon approaching the vehicle, the Kentucky State Police trooper indicates in his citation that there was indications that Smith had been consuming alcohol, and that Smith, when asked to do so, refused to take a breathalyzer test. That action changes the DUI from a regular or standard DUI, if you will, to a first offense or aggravated DUI charge. He was also charged with speeding 20 miles per hour or more over the speed limit. It's my understanding he was released from jail sometime late last night or very early this morning. When we come back, well, just how it's not always a good thing to put complete trust in your GPS. I'll have that after these messages. On numerous occasions over many years, I've shared a few GPS stories on the program, some of them my own accounts or observations, and some others that have made national headlines as they were just too good to pass up. Here on the local level, I can recall several times mentioning how out in front of my house on Dixie Avenue, which is a one-way street. There's only one way in, one way out, but up until the past few years ago, they must have remedied that situation. 18-wheelers coming through the tight, curvy streets of Dixie Avenue, and then actually some turning on to Sugar Camp Road, which is even narrower and more winding, in an effort to make it to their location, only following the GPS as it was telling them and instructing them to do. It made for some serious problems on more than one occasion. trying to get some of that heavy equipment out of that narrow road. And there are all sorts of stories. More often than not, I actually just traveled recently and I took the long way around. I realized on my return trip home because I just punched in the address and went with what I was being told, which is not always a good thing, which is what a man from Germany has discovered after making his way through Magoffin County in eastern Kentucky. Fortunately for him, it was during the day and not during the overnight hours tonight when he was coming through and such a problem happened. And also, fortunately for him, well, there was a member of the Kentucky Vehicle Enforcement nearby. Fortunate to not have to have gotten out this morning. Well, this is what you missed, or not, depending on how you look at it. And this is also the reason that most all area schools canceled classes earlier today. You may recall me referring to last evening, a little snow in the forecast, and just a few flakes would be all that it would take on grounds and roads as cold as they were going to be to cause some serious travel problems. And indeed, that was the case. Just a little skiff of snow on the grass, but man, it really complicated travel, and especially in the blustery conditions, whiteout conditions for some periods of time. This was traveling on 460 towards Johnson County earlier this morning, and traffic was going at a very slow pace just due to the very poor visibility. But for one motorist who was actually coming through Magoffin County, it was another story. It also adds to that long list of stories where GPS directions aren't all they're cracked up to be.
He was just out of gas. He said he's coming down the Mountain Parkway. Gas light came on, Route 30 exit. GPS told him to take Route 30. He went Route 30 into Breathitt County on the Breathitt-Magoffin County line, ran out of gas.
The GPS told you to go to Breathitt County. Was that telling him that was the closest gas station, or that was just the closest city?
That was showing the closest gas station.
Officer Darvin Marcellette with the Kentucky Vehicle Enforcement says that he just happened to be the individual who came across a motorist originally from Germany who had flown into Lexington and then had gotten into his rental car to go towards Prestonsburg. And for some complications, his credit card wouldn't work leaving Lexington and he couldn't fill up. So he headed on towards Prestonsburg and then found himself nearly out of gas as he crossed into Magoffin County.
Officer Marcellette, he just called our 911, and then they relayed the call to me, so we sent some gas over to him. But a GPS is not all it's meant to be. It will get you in trouble. We've had people get off on a side road up on top of a hill and ahead of Will May Branch because they were trying to get to Lick Creek, left fork of Lick Creek. Yeah, about 50 or 60 years ago, you probably could have taken a horse and mule and gone across that way to the left fork of Lick Creek, but not today. So when you use a GPS, verify that that's what it's telling you is the correct way.
Now, without a doubt, I couldn't get where I'm going 3/4, if not more, of the time without my GPS. And without a doubt, it saves a lot of driving around, making wrong turns and turning around and trying to figure out where you're going and stopping to pull over and read a map. But there are those times like this morning when gas was just 3 miles away, but it was taking this particular motorist who had no idea really where he was, as none of us often do when we're traveling afar, well, more than 30 miles or so in the opposite direction. Up next, your calendar and other announcements, all brought to you by Magoffin Farm Bureau. Now, I don't know who Wig is, but I'm sure Wig does. Happy birthday to you, Wig, from a whole lot of family and friends. Starting off calendar announcements tonight, a birthday wish, a happy birthday wish to Wig. A reminder, the Magoffin County DAV Chapter 15 has a meeting set for tomorrow. This is their monthly meeting, and it starts at 6 o'clock. And by the way, all veterans and members of the DAV Chapter are urged to attend. And if you're a veteran and you don't know as much as you could about our local DAV Chapter, well, they'd love for you to call 272-0826, 272-0826 to find out more about our local chapter of the Disabled American Veterans. And the next free diabetic education class is still set for tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. at the Magoffin County Health Department. They'll be discussing working with your doctor at this next education class. All these classes are free, open to the public, and encouraged for anyone who directly or indirectly is dealing with or living with diabetes in the Magoffin County or even surrounding area. Diabetic education class tomorrow at 10. And don't forget the family movie night at Kearney Free Will Baptist this coming Monday, the 10th at 6 p.m. This is free, and this is Heaven is Real. That's what they're showing. And this is your invitation to join them over at Kearney Free Will. And join our calendar with calendar announcements anytime you've got one, birthdays, anniversaries, and the like. And this is how you get them on the show, as well as always dropping them off here at the newsroom, just a few doors up from the Sagersville Post Office. And funeral service announcements this Wednesday include those to be held in honor of 60-year-old Orville Lee Bull Blanton, as he's known to by his friends and family. He passed away on, January the 5th. He is survived by his wife, Bonnie Mans Blanton, stepsons Freddie Campbell, Randall Mans, and Amos Campbell, daughters Cindy Blanton, Tara Lynn Blanton, and stepdaughter Sophia Puckett. Services are going to be held in his honor this Friday morning at 11. Visitation is this evening, all day tomorrow, and then prior to services, once again, Friday at 11. We've also learned of the passing of 50-year-old Elizabeth Ann Gamble of Oak Road, who passed away on today's date, the daughter of the late Ray and Ivory Howard. She's survived by 3 brothers and 9 sisters. Visitation is after 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. It continues all day Friday and until services. They've been set for Saturday at 1. Visitation and services all from the Magoffin County Funeral Home Chapel. I have some announcements tonight regarding the cold conditions and an update on your forecast, specifically curtailed to the viewing area to see what we're going to have to endure tonight and for the next several days, mind you. Now, on the first note, I did receive a call just as I was sitting down, so it's only an announcement at this time. We may look to do a report tomorrow and find out some more, but Sagersville Fire Chief Paul Howard phoned the newsroom and said that he and Sagersville Mayor Pete Shepard had just come out of a meeting, the two of them deciding to open up the Sagersville Fire Department for a warming center tonight and throughout the remainder of this, and I say cold snap, and I'm using that very lightly, but you understand. They will be opening the fire department. They have seating. They will have coffee. They have a TV. You can catch the late show. You might have to use their provisions tonight, but if you are out of heat, know someone who is. This is not a time to take it lightly, and they are offering just some room to stay warm. Warm cup of coffee, or how many ever you can drink, I'm sure. But it's at the Sagersville Fire Department, and the number at the department is 349-3256. So if for some reason your heating source is not working, not connected, what have you, or you know someone who might need some assistance, that indeed is the number to call. The Sagersville Fire Department at 349-3256. I had another individual stop by the newsroom today, and try as I might, she was a little reluctant to be on camera, but I have the following announcement and another phone number for some assistance for anyone out there who may need a little food or straw to help keep their pets or animals warm over the course of the next few evenings, and especially tonight. And I couldn't give her too much grief over not being on camera because she had been out all day volunteering her time and her resources to take some straw that she had and maybe some food that she had as well for pets or animals that she could find that might need them. A lot of folks are just animal people, and that's just the way we are. And some folks might not have the resources to properly take care of their animals during this cold spell, maybe having to take care of their family or so, even more, obviously. For whatever reasons, if you can, be mindful of your pets or maybe even someone else's. If you need some straw, maybe even a little food, whatever, with these dangerously low temperatures tonight and tomorrow, everyone can be mindful of their pets, either on your own or call for help. Denise Gamble was so graciously offering of herself and her services to, if you can't bring your animals inside, but they need to stay outside, if you need a little straw or a little food, give her a call to help keep your animals safe. 349-7181. We wish to applaud her for her efforts as well, and we also hope that you'll utilize the services, or maybe even if you have some straw or food to maybe give to her to help further her efforts, well, that's another wonderful way to help as well. Denise Gamble can be reached at 349-7181. All right, so we've got a little more to talk about tonight than usual in your Licking Valley RECC forecast, so let's spend a little time there now, where while you're taking a look at what we've got coming tonight, let me tell you about current conditions. And earlier today, we started off at, well, I can't really say my record low for today is 11, And that's what it is right now if you're catching the early show. I've also got a 4-mile-per-hour wind east-southeast, so that puts wind chills right now already at 4 degrees. We're also expecting tonight temperatures right around, and I want to stress this, not that it's a big adjustment, but it's an adjustment. An hour ago, our computer renderings were saying expect a -3 low. Right now, it's been adjusted to a +1, but nevertheless, you factor in winds that could be blowing from the west-northwest after this evening hour progresses at 10 to 15 miles per hour, gusts upwards of 24. Wind chill values will be, well, much lower than that, well into the minus double digits, so keep that in mind. We also have a minimum wind chill of -5 to -15. A -10 is certainly going to be a likelihood over the course of tonight. Whether it's -3 or 1 degree, it's going to be dangerously cold during your overnight. Into your tomorrow, Thursday, we do have that 20% chance of some flurries tonight, becoming scattered in the early morning and early afternoon hours. Should be over with by noon or 1, but increasing clouds tomorrow, a high of 22 degrees. That still puts wind chill values tomorrow with winds still blustering around, maybe 6, maybe 10 miles per hour, maybe gusts of 15, but still putting wind chill factors about 1 degree or at 0 during the day tomorrow. Now, tomorrow night, as you saw, winds continuing to howl, low of 21 as temperatures don't go anywhere tomorrow, 22 and 21 for your high and low. But Friday, things, well, you can say they improved with a little sunshine, partly sunny skies, and 24, 25 degrees on your Friday. I've also got winds still gusting upwards of 18 miles per hour at times, still a wind chill factor to worry about on your Friday. Friday night, things will clear with a low of 8 degrees or so. Saturday, sunny and 25 degrees with a low of 13. Partly cloudy late, and then it's hard to believe that's going to be an improvement, but indeed it is. And then Sunday, as we round out your weekend, mostly cloudy with a high right around 40 degrees, a low of 32, and another 40% chance of some showers, and it looks right now to be possibly rain, maybe a little mix Sunday night as we're going to be right on the freezing point. And then Monday we'll start off next week with some rain, snow, maybe even some freezing rain, quite likely with a high of 41. Tuesday, another chance of some precipitation with a high of around 40. And that's your forecast in a nutshell. Tonight's going to be a brutally cold one out there. It does warrant using all the precaution that you can with wind chill factors -5 to -15, maybe even a bit below that in those higher gusts of winds, which are going to be relentless tonight and tomorrow. Keep in mind, we are under a wind advisory. The National Weather Service has issued a wind chill advisory, 7 o'clock this evening until 10 o'clock in the morning. And it's not to say that wind chill factors won't be something you're going to have to keep in mind after 10 o'clock tomorrow. But that indeed is the case for now. I'm a little short on the show this evening. It's been one of those days around here, and the weather has had a little bit to do with that. But we've got a great deal of reports coming up tomorrow, and we'll see you then for more news that you'll only see with me. So for now and for tonight, please stay warm and stay safe, and just stay inside if you can. And remember, Your News Today is on Howard's Cable, Foothills, Channel 40, and yournewstoday.com. That's right, programming being put on the site usually the next morning or afternoon after the original showing, but programming in its entirety can be found on yournewstoday.com. It's an evolving website that we're working on and tweaking by the day, but one that you can access at any time. Thank you all for being a part of the show. We'll see you back here tomorrow night.